Hey Reefers, welcome back. Okay, so normally I do this update video a lot sooner after we land a shipment, but unfortunately we were so busy, and with the stress of the new system and with the velvet outbreak and losing all those fish, I was on high alert and watching the systems, making sure everything's fine. But luckily enough, everything is all sorted and the systems are working out very nicely. Fish are doing well. We've pretty much sold about almost half the shipments already, and yeah, so things are looking good. We got one or two fish came in with a bit of a fungal infection, but we're sorting that out with our usual Kanaplex and focus in the food, and that works really well. So if you ever are looking for something that gets rid of like a bacterial or fungus that's growing on a fish and you need to sort that out, Kanaplex from Seachem and Focus, if you mix them together in the food, it binds it in the food, and that also is safe to use in a reef aquarium. You can use Kanaplex in the water directly, but then that is not safe for inverts and corals. So it's best to use the Focus and add it in the food. And if you are going to do that method, make sure you're running carbon. If you're running carbon, then if anything does manage to leach into the water, the carbon will sort it out. Also remember, when you're doing it with the food, the usual dosage is one of their little tiny teaspoons to about a spoon of frozen food. So if you're going to dose that into aquarium, I think it is one of those teaspoons for every 20 liters of aquarium. So when you're doing it that way, you're not putting your corals or inverts in risk in any way, and you're directly targeting the fish. So yeah, one of these Antheus here on its dorsal fin has a bit of a fungal on its dorsal. I don't know if you can see it there. So just on the top dorsal there, so just trying to take care of that, making sure that goes away. It actually is looking a bit better than it was when it landed. Just adding just one of its feedings a day with Kanaplex. Yeah, so other than that, the shipment did very well. I'm very pleased with it. Just to show you, I'll leave a card on screen now with the whole how we disinfected the systems and that. The bleach method works. You bleach your tanks out properly and you leave them dry for about 72 hours, and that gets rid of the velvets. And like I say, we had on that shipments, I think we tallied up 6 dead on arrivals. And we had three sand sifters that weren't doing well at all. Day 1, I really thought they weren't going to make the day. Day 2, I couldn't tell which ones were the 3 that were not well. This tank here had the majority of them in. There's 3 in there now. I've sold a few. I think I had 5 in here, and they all look pretty good. Yeah, so like I say, if you are running a holding tank, or if you feel that your whole tank was wiped out and you want to start from scratch again, a good bleach in the system works very well. Sun also works very well to sterilize stuff. Other than that, like I said, everything's looking good and healthy. Everything's eating nicely. We are running medication in the system. We're just using the X, which is a malachite green chloride solution, and we just run that, put a couple of mils in every day according to the tank capacity, and yeah, just to make sure that if there is anything coming in, that it doesn't get transferred to other fish. Yeah, so that's basically what we're doing medication-wise. Obviously, if something does break out and we do see something more serious, then we would take more precautions there. We would even start feeding with Metroplex, which also helps eliminate parasites like velvet and marine egg. So as for the systems themselves, before we landed the shipment, so these systems behind me have been running now for 3 weeks. 2 weeks without fish, and a week with fish. So what we did in this system, once we started it up again, in these systems, is we used a product from Aquaforest called BioS. Now BioS is a nitrifying bacteria, and it's a dropper that you put into the aquarium with obviously nitrifying bacteria, and it's 1 drop per 100 liters. We ran that for the 2 weeks as to Aquaforest's recommendations, but we ran it for a further week after. So basically it's 1 drop per 100 liters every single day, but because it's a new system, and obviously we went from literally, I think this shipment was 260 specimens, and I think of that 260 specimens, only 90 of them were inverts, which go into our invert system over there, and the rest were fish. So we were looking at a good 170 fish filling up these 2 banks here, which are 500 liters each. So we were just a little bit concerned. And what we also did, when we added the fish, we used the product called Zeomix, which helps eliminate ammonia before it becomes a problem. So it actually eliminates ammonia as the ammonia enters the water. And also we used Cloram X from Hikari as well if we saw any cloudiness, and we monitored the ammonia levels. We didn't have any ammonia spikes, but on the first day after landing, we did have a bit of cloudiness in water, so that got me very concerned. Checked ammonia. Ammonia was fine, so I assumed it was an algae bloom. Sorry, not an algae bloom, a bacterial bloom. So what I did there was I backed off on the BioS, and I think it was about a day, the next day, the water was all cleared up again. So it was definitely a bacterial bloom. Got me a bit worried because, you know, ammonia spike can wipe out an entire system in a matter of minutes. So, like I said, first thing we did was we tested. If there was an ammonia spike as bad as that, we would have used the Cloram M, which is a ammonia binder, and we would have done a big water change, just to prevent any losses of fish or yeah, any disasters. So like I said, we were very, very happy with the shipment. It's our usual barley supplier. Great fish, great quality fish, and no issues this time around. Unfortunately, with this hobby, like I say in every video when we talk about it, it is part of the game, and unfortunately it's the part of the game I hate the most. It's the only part of the game I actually hate. The rest of it is actually quite relaxing. Stressful at times, but relaxing. Let's move on to have a look at, seems this is an update video, let's have a look at my little dude, my stripey, and he's doing exceptionally well. This guy has grown incredibly big from the time when we got him and he was a tiny little fish. And if you look here, this rock over there, I can't find the zoom, this rock over there was the rock that was covered in Aptasia. You can see a little tentacle sticking out there. Trying to get the camera to focus. But like I said, where you have it in camera, I don't think you could really see rock. It was just Aptasia. I see 1 or 2 tentacles sticking out, but I'm sure he'll take care of that in no time. I mean, there is still one inside my zoas. You can just see the tentacles sticking out, but I think there were 4 there if I'm not mistaken, maybe more, and he seems to be doing his job. He's a lucky little fish, and he's got such cool personality, and he eats like a pig, which is good to have. So, you know, when the Aptasia is finished, he shouldn't starve, I should say. I haven't ever noticed him pick on anything, any coral, anything like that. So yeah, that's my stripey, doing very well, and I'm very happy with him. Guys, we'll see you in the next video. Happy reefing.